Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 118 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Hanging in there?
Yeah.
Is it starting to get warmer by you, Trevor, or is it still really cold?
It is, actually. It's above zero, so the snow is starting to melt.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
I know you guys are like, oh, whoa, that sounds awful. But it's actually really nice. Like, I went outside this morning. I didn't have to wear a jacket.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, I think it was like, what, it was 70s here yesterday, Damon? I don't know.
It got close to 80.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Today's a little cooler, but I still have shorts on.
Yeah, today's a little bit cooler, but
what are shorts?
It's still nice. What are shorts? So wait, Trevor, do you just have shorts for the purposes of going to Disney, or like?
No, I mean we wear them in the summer, which amounts up to about like 2.5 months, really. But yeah,
not too bad.
Most of the time the shorts, are reserved for Disney.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to get nicer out, which is good.
Yeah.
So
we're coming up on. Oh, geez, is this 3 or 4 years that we're coming up on?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I think it's 4 years. I think it was 2017 we started, right?
Yeah.
Making that up?
I just remembered because it was about this time that I think we first, or you reached out to us, Tom.
Yeah.
And we started the conversations about the podcast around this time.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's 4 years, so it was 2017. Yeah. I can't believe it's been 4 years. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, that's really crazy to think about, that it's been 4 years. Almost. It'll be 4 years. The 17th of April was our very first episode, so.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It is. It's really crazy. I don't know. I don't know how it's been that long for real, so. Yeah, but we'll have to do something for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 5 is a big.
Well, yeah.
I mean, definitely good to celebrate anniversaries, but 5 years is going to be a big one for sure.
It's just funny that it's been 4 years and we have I want to say only 118 episodes, but for the longest time it was every 2 weeks and it was 2 hours a piece. So I mean, it's been a lot.
Brutal sometimes.
What's that?
Those were brutal sometimes.
The 2 hour ones.
Yeah.
I guess if you think about it, if we took those 2 hour episodes and split them up, like really,
it still was brutal recording for 2 hours.
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't disagree. I'm just saying for the amount of time that we've spent, like I feel the amount of time hasn't changed. It's just we've changed our cadence. But really, it's crazy how many hours we've spent doing this.
it would be way better if we could do 3 times a week 30-minute shows. It's never going to happen, but that would be the best.
Yeah. I feel like there's too many rabbit holes, and it sometimes it takes us a bit to get warmed up on a topic. So
true.
Yeah.
Well, who was in the group that kind of described our show kind of perfectly, where it was like, it's not a straight news show. It's not where you go for your DVC planning tips. It's more of just like 3 people talking about Disney and having a conversation. Like, it's not anything other than that. And I never thought about it that way, and I don't think we ever intended to do it that way, but it just kind of happened that way. I forget who said that. So
yeah, I think I'm thinking back to when we started it. Initially we were very let's make this all about DVC. And we kind of realized quickly that there's more to Disney than just DVC. And yeah, like that person said, it's a conversation, and I think that's been the important thing, is that we always have a conversation about whatever's going on, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we got a lot of questions as usual.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with Jeremy's here? Okay, so Jeremy asks, if you could move one attraction within 5 miles of your home and visit it as often as you like for free, what would it be?
Nothing.
Yeah. I would agree with
totally ruin it.
Yeah.
Yeah, ruins the attraction. Sorry.
Yeah, that. See,
So
that,
when am I going to answer this?
No, because the answer is nothing. Because why would I want it? The problem is, look, if you're going to have an attraction that close to your house, and you can visit it for free. It's not special. And if it's not special, then what's the point, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter which attraction it is. It becomes boring.
Yeah. But like, if you're like a pass holder that lives like 5 minutes from the park, so you're saying it becomes less special, less, enjoyable?
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess, in thinking about it, like, some of the vloggers that I watch, the difference is you think about it and it's like when you're that close, you're not on the rides all the time. Right? Like like some vloggers, they're like, oh, I haven't been on Big Thunder in like months. And it's like, there's no reason why they couldn't go on Big Thunder every day because they're at the parks frequently. But I think that's the thing, is that anything that you pick, it'll get to a point where you don't want to ride it. Right. And I think that's where you're going with it, Damon, is it's like,
well, there's no atmosphere either. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the atmosphere is not there. It's a ride. And look, if you take Disney and break it down to just rides, there's other places. There's a lot of other places that do rides better than Disney.
Well, also he says, or Jeremy said attraction. So I guess, would you expand this out to any shows or anything that you would?
Oh my goodness. Could you imagine? That would be like torture. Are you kidding me? I don't care how good The Lion King is. If I'm not going that often.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would ride. I think you would get tired of some stuff after a while, right? If you were doing it every day.
Well, you don't even have to do it every day. It's just, it's free, so that kind of puts a different perspective on it.
Yeah,
there's something to be said about Disney, not being the cheapest place to go, and that it being special changes perception. You
mean just because it's like not something you do all the time? So okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, because it's like, part of my planning is the anticipation of getting back on the rides and the anticipation of being there again. If that wasn't there, that's if
I get you.
Being too convenient is a bad thing.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of local pass holders that would disagree with us.
Sure, but since it's our opinion, right?
That's that's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that email though. Like,
well, but I mean that Jeremy asked us a question, and I feel we answered it fairly.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably one of the reasons I wouldn't move to Florida, right? I would love to consider myself a person that would like to retire and just Disney 24/7, but it loses that special feeling. I feel like, so I like that it's a little bit further. Isn't free and all that fun stuff.
I get it.
You see, when I retire, I want to get myself somewhere where I'm close enough that it's like maybe an hour or 2 hour flight instead of a 5 hour flight.
Because does that exist outside of in Canada?
I think over in Toronto, I think it's about 2.5 hours.
That's not to land.
Yeah. Or no, to Disney World. It's about 2.5 hours from Toronto.
Okay. I don't know my Canadian geography well enough.
Yeah, for me actually to get to Disneyland is about 2 hours from Calgary.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could go to Disneyland more frequently, but the problem is Disneyland is not as big as Disney World and doesn't have nearly as much stuff, right?
Exactly. Until the Avengers are there.
Well, we're going to talk about that later a little bit. A smidgen, just a little tiny bit. But yeah, that's going to be a nice addition too, so. All right, so Bobby wants to know, do any of you know somebody that had a DVC contract before you bought yours?
No, but people have bought contracts because I bought mine, right? So I think I was the first of the people in my circle that had a DVC contract.
So you started it.
I guess.
My best friend's parents were the first DVC members that I knew of, and they go all the time. They don't even go to the parks. I've talked about them on the show before. They don't go to the parks. They go and stay at Saratoga for 2 weeks and go to Disney Springs and just hang and relax, and like they almost never go to the parks, which is funny to me, but that's what they want to do. So, but they were the first ones that I knew, and they'd been members for quite a long time. But I think I also have I have another friend whose parents own as well. But outside of that, I think that's all the DVC members I knew before I bought.
And for me, I knew nobody that was in DVC before I bought, and I only happened to know one guy through work that it just came up as a conversation that his parents had DVC. But outside of that, I'm the only one that I know of that has it. So yeah,
outside of our community of people,
exactly. Yeah. Everybody that I know does not live anywhere near me, and I know there's other members in Calgary and around the area. It's just I've never met them.
That makes sense. You got to have like a meetup once things get back to normal.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Do you want to read Francisco's question?
Sure.
Somebody?
So Francisco says, if you could only go to one park and not be able to take part in any rides, which would you choose?
Who doesn't choose Epcot?
I choose Animal Kingdom. Because it's basically like going to a zoo for the day. You could go through all the trails. You could, check out all the animals.
The trail. Where are all these trails and all these? I mean, you can go to Rafiki's, right?
No, there's the animal trails.
The Maharaja trail and that
Maharaja Jungle Trek. And
but are those not rides?
I don't consider that a ride. I consider it a walking trail.
Yeah, it's not a ride. It's like walking through a zoo.
Yeah. I mean, but listen, I don't disagree with Epcot.
Yeah, I still think I'm at Epcot.
I'm not against Epcot. I think that would be my close second. Go ahead.
I'm torn there. I kind of I feel like I would actually enjoy Epcot more than I would enjoy Animal Kingdom. Now that I'm starting to
there's a lot of things to do in the country. There's a lot more shows to see.
Yeah.
And the food obviously trumps, not even close.
Yeah, and honestly, just exploring the World Pavilions, like there's
so many things you don't see.
Yeah, if you had time, just going to some of those little back corners and stuff that most people don't go in, I think that would be more entertaining.
There's a lot of those back corners at Animal Kingdom though too. Like, have you ever walked around the base of the tree?
Yeah, but the problem is it's all trees and it all looks the same. so you don't find. I know what you're saying. You specifically with the Tree of Life. I know. Yeah, there's a path and everything, but my point is that they've kind of set it up that a lot of the surrounding area it's a lot of plants and jungle and stuff. You're not finding like new and interesting decor or anything like that. It's just.
No, like checking out all the animals on the tree that are carved in there, like, finding hidden animal. Oh, there's lots to do there.
So you do that for about 15 minutes and then what?
Listen, again, I'm not against the Epcot thing. I just think Animal Kingdom's getting a raw deal here. I feel like Animal Kingdom's got a lot of those hidden kind of things, and there's fun stuff there. So I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just I just think Epcot would be more interesting.
All right, fair enough. Francisco also wants to know how many actual DVC members are there. Since many members have multiple contracts, this would be difficult to determine outside of social media. How many DVC members do you personally know in your community? We just talked about this.
I answered that. I know none, or one.
Yeah.
Well, I think because we took Bobby's question and kind of went a little bit further with it.
That's
how
true.
many DVC members are there?
A couple 100,000, probably. I don't think anybody knows the true answer to that, right? Of course, it changes every day too, right? So
yeah, and to Francisco's point is, if you could go and count the number of contracts, but then some of those contracts are doubled or tripled up, or even more.
Contracts can have different amount of points.
Yeah. It's a tough question. And I'm sure the only people that actually know that are DVC themselves. So
now I guess. Now that I'm rereading his question, he's talking, how many DVC members do you personally know in your community? I wonder if it's certain areas have more DVC people than others. Like I said, around here, there doesn't seem to be a lot, but both you guys live in the same state.
Yeah.
I have to wonder if, the closer you get to Florida.
I'm going to start a Facebook group, North Carolina DVC members.
Yeah. Yep, do it.
And I'm not going to invite Tom.
I have a DVC. I have a group like that I just don't manage at all. I don't do anything with. It has like 30 people in it.
Tom didn't invite me, so see how it goes, Trevor?
To be fair, there's nothing really going on in it. I don't think there's been a post in there in like a year or so.
What's it called, Tom?
It's called DVC, y'all.
Oh boy.
I forget who called it that. Somebody else made it, and then I somehow ended up. I don't even know. I maybe someone came up with the name. I don't remember where the genesis of this group came from.
Is there an apostrophe in that?
Of course there is. Of course, I don't even say y'all. That's not even a thing I say.
Oh my goodness, I can't find it, which makes it even worse. So I don't know what that means.
Trying to Google it, really?
No, I'm trying to Facebook it.
Trying to look it up. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Maybe I.
Oh wait, I found it. There's 24. See, he was exaggerating already.
I wasn't exaggerating. I just literally didn't remember. I don't do anything with that group. I have no idea what's in there. So,
but that's not specifically. It's for Southern DVC members.
Yeah, see, that's what.
So let's read this. A DVC group for Southern DVC members. All members are welcome, but this group is focused on members in the South.
Oh, it might have been. This might have been a spike group.
If you're a DVC member who frequently drives to Walt Disney World, we are a good group for you.
I don't remember making this.
And Trevor, here's the thing. Here's where it gets interesting. Okay, Tom created this group after we started doing the podcast for 2 years.
That's fun.
Yet this is the first we've heard about it. Put that in the back of your mind.
Where do you think it was created?
Obviously, I don't do anything with this group.
But you see that, Trevor? He created it, didn't invite me, and didn't tell us about it.
I'm trying to remember even why I did this.
I think you did actually have a spike group. You were mad at something, because I remember this discussion, actually.
Yeah, I think this was a spike group for something. I don't remember.
He's got 24 members, y'all. So
I got 24 members. I don't even say y'all. I swear to God, I couldn't think of a name, and then I just was like, it's Southern. Why not throw it in there? But back to what we were talking about. Yeah, I would think that there probably are
24 people. It seems Tom knows 24 people. It seems as well.
I don't even know who these people are in this group. Like, where do these people come from?
I don't know.
Well, you obviously admitted them because it's a private group.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, apparently.
And no rules. No rules. It's a free for all.
No, there's rules there. There's rules.
I don't see them.
The announcement post is rules.
Well, no offense, Tom, but I would never hire you as a bouncer because you're just letting these people in, and you're like, I don't know.
I can't even see the rules because I'm not in the group because Tom never invited me. So
that's fair. Yeah. Do you want to try to apply to it now, and I'll let you in?
No, I don't.
I made this March 11th, 2019, almost exactly 2 years ago. That's pretty funny. I really wanted to. I wish I remember, but
well, the next I do remember part of that discussion though. So the next question is from Tara. So what are some things that you've done to keep your vacations to Disney different and exciting? Doing the same rides and restaurants every year gets boring. It's funny. I say that, Tara, and I catch like the most hate in the world. So I feel happy that someone at least, is on board with me on that. Other than going to different places to eat, that's my go-to. But okay, what are some of the things you've done or want to do that you probably wouldn't have done if you only went to Disney once or twice? All right. So I would say that one is probably shows, because I think if you're only going to Disney once or twice, it is difficult to get all the shows in. And I don't even really love the shows, but, we do make it a point to do that. For our family, there's always a ride that somebody doesn't want to go on that they have to be forced to go on. So that's usually part of that discussion. Eating's huge for us. So that's something. But I would say shopping as well at Disney Springs is a big deal, doing things at Disney Springs. And I think for us, pictures are a huge deal that keeps it exciting. Like trying to get that perfect picture, trying to get that perfect picture, perfect location, everyone looking, halfway decent. That's a big deal for us also. But then we've also done some of the excursions, right? Not the excursions. What do they call them again?
The tours and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we did the what's it called? The surfing. And I think that we're going to do a tour if we go in July, maybe. So I think things like that. But eating is a huge one. I'm sorry you excluded that, but
wait, you're going in July?
Maybe.
Oh wow! All right. I thought you weren't going to go this year. I thought you were out for the rest of 2021.
No, that's me.
Yeah, I think that with the vaccination schedule running like it is, I think what we may end up doing is going without all the kids, only vaccinated kids.
Okay, you're gonna leave kids behind.
We're gonna leave kids behind. So we may actually.
Your daughter can't get it yet, right? So like,
correct.
Because
neither can my son either. My middle one. But I think what we may end up doing is just me, my wife, and my older son going. He's a junior, he's going to be a senior next year. I think that would be a fun trip because again, we're not going to go to the parks. So unless we do a 1-day tour, which we're debating about. So if we don't go to the parks, then no. It will be just Disney Springs. And if we do go to the parks, it'll be like a 1-day, and we'll do just some sort of thing. A tour or something.
So you're not going to do a park trip. You're just going to do like Disney Springs and like.
Yeah. See, I wish there was some things you could do without a ticket, but I know you can do surfing without a ticket, but that doesn't really, I have no interest in that, but I wish there was some things you could do tour wise without a ticket. So you know what I mean? Like that would be kind of cool. I don't know if there's anything besides surfing though.
Well, there's like none of the tours are even like available right now because I was looking for my trip and there's just nothing. Like it's kind of sad. I was trying to find something separate to do.
Here's the other thing too. Like, so think about Disney Springs. I mean, have you been up in the hot air balloon?
Yeah, that's one thing that is open that I was looking at. I don't really do heights.
No, but I'm just in general. I'm saying there are other things to do.
There are a couple things, yeah.
So that would be my answer. I don't know about you guys.
I think for me, I think one of the things we like, going to Disney, just about going to Disney, is that like there's always something different going on. Like there's always some sort of event. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, it's true. I'm just curious before we even delve into this. How many times have you guys been? Like, I don't think we've ever answered this question.
Oh, jeez.
I have no idea.
And take it just like I said, a guess. It doesn't have to be exact, but I mean, how many times have you even been to Disney?
I don't even know. That's a tough question.
So,
okay, so let's do it like this. You ready? 1 to 25, 25 to 50, or over 50.
Are we talking about like individual trips, or are we talking about days?
Individual trips.
I know. Probably.
I'm in 1 to 25.
I would say maybe like 20, probably.
Okay. And see, I'm probably over 50. So I think that's where, again, right? So when we talk about the difference of opinion, which is nice, having people at different stages, and I think that answer becomes different. So, okay, so I'll let you finish your answer. I just want to make sure that, because we've never answered that before, crazily enough, right?
Yeah, I've never really thought about it like that before. So, I was just going to say there's always something different going on. There's always some sort of new event, some sort of, new ride, new restaurant. There's always something new going on in some way, shape, or form. So, that's always something exciting. And kind of to what Damon was talking about, we always like to try to do like a tour or like some sort of special thing that we've never done. So you can
post it on DVC, y'all.
Yeah, that's right.
There's probably a lot of good information in there that we don't get on this podcast.
I think the last post in there was like 2 years ago too. I think I posted once in there and then never again. That's funny. Now I'm gonna have like all these member requests for that. Don't request that group, please.
I don't know about that, Tom. I think I don't know.
You don't think anyone's gonna request to be in my?
No, I don't think
group?
so.
All right, that's fine. But anyway, yeah. So no, I mean, different places to eat, different, kind of different schedules of how we do stuff. Staying at different resorts. We like to vary that up, and just doing different stuff, like, going to the spa or, the last trip. Oh yeah. See, I don't golf, but I mean, that's a thing.
Oh, the mini golf. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Mini golf. Totally. Yeah. There's that. A lot of the other activities that are around, this last trip we took a pool day, which we never did before, which was kind of great, to do. We were always run to the park. So it was kind of nice to take a break and do a pool day. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just different every time just because there's always new things going on and there's always different things going on there. And, that's how I feel about it. But
yeah, I'm kind of similar to you, Tom, is, I feel the same way that, we haven't gone enough that we're at that point where we feel like there's nothing to do. Like even going back and repeating, the same rides and everything, we're still early enough in our DVC membership that it's still exciting every time, and we still want to be in the parks. But I know, like what you're saying, Damon, is eventually we'll get to a point where we just want to hang out at the resorts. But even while we're there, I think the big thing for us is that we keep changing up the time of year that we're going so that we can experience, Flower and Garden Festival. We can do the Halloween and the Christmas party. So those things kind of become focuses of each of our trips. It's like, this trip, we're all about the Christmas party and everything kind of revolves around that. Right. There's certain things that we like doing, when we find something that we really like, we'll keep doing it until we get sick of it, really, is, I guess, just like anybody. But yeah, the biggest thing we do is, like I said, I think changing it up for when we go. And also something that's kind of hard to do too, or at least for us, like from when I was a kid, we always, one of the first things my parents told us was, when we got into Disneyland, go to the left, because everyone else went over to Tomorrowland, and we always went to the left to go into Adventureland and start there, because it was always it was avoiding the crowds, and it was just kind of a habit that we got into. The hard part is that changing your flow of how you do things around the parks, at least for us, is kind of hard. Like it's something that I have to consciously think about, because habitually I like to go a certain direction and kind of follow the what I think is the I don't want to say the best path, but the best path for me around the park. So changing that up actually does make it interesting. Like I said, we started doing that. It's like, hey, instead of going straight to Adventureland in Magic Kingdom, why don't we go up to, Fantasyland first, and then we can loop back around through Liberty Square, hit Haunted Mansion, and then go the opposite direction, right? It sounds weird, or it doesn't sound like a lot, but just changing what I guess would be your routine kind of does make a difference, or at least for us it did.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, I think doing different parks on different days, ending with different parks, maybe going to one more than another, there's lots of things you can do there. I also I meant to do this. I want to throw a shout out to an app that I found. I know this is going to sound random, but in preparation for my trip coming up here, I had used this app years ago when I was there for Food and Wine, but there's an app called WDW Food and Wine. It's not sanctioned by Disney, by the way. It's somebody made it. But it has all of the dishes for all of the food festivals. So whatever food festival is going on, it has all the dishes, and you can go in and you favorite which ones you want to eat. And then, if you've eaten it already, you can rate it and say that you've eaten it already. But it also has a map of where all the booths are and all that stuff. And I found it tremendously helpful for my upcoming trip, because I went through and found all the stuff I want to eat, and just marked it as favorite, so I know where to find those when I go, and I know which ones we want to go to. So, I just, random plug for a random app I found, but it's, I think it's been really helpful. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say that's interesting. I guess I never really thought about that, but if you're standing there looking at all the booths, and you don't know what you want, that can make it 100 times harder.
Yeah, this has literally, it has all the menus. It has the prices for each dish. It has, it has a map of where every booth is. It's a very rudimentary app, but it's super helpful, to try to find this stuff. So, and to be prepared for eating around the world there. So,
right.
Ashley wants to know if any of us have done any Disney subscription boxes. If so, which ones and were they worth it? I have not.
No.
I've thought about it, though.
No.
I'd like to do one of the snack ones. Don't they have snack ones? I feel like I've seen park snack ones. I would do that. But
yeah, my thing, the only subscription box that I have right now is actually one for ramen, because I like Japanese food in general, and this ramen crate just proved itself to be interesting enough that I've kept it going for a while. But outside of that, I I don't want a ton of subscription boxes, or like I don't want to keep getting them because it seems like too much. And also, like, I've had other like candy ones and stuff in the past, and I find no matter which one you pick, it kind of gets to a point where after you're, you know, maybe 6 months or a year, you kind of see everything it has to offer. And then, like, but then I guess for a Disney subscription box, it's like, what are you getting? And I just don't know if there's anything Disney specific that I would want that bad that I would want it sent to me monthly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's not something I necessarily really see myself getting.
Yeah.
No, Damon, do you get one?
No, nope.
Definitely not.
I assume the answer was no. I just, you know.
I answered no before.
Oh, you did?
Must have gotten lost in the shuffle.
Gotcha. No worries. Who wants to read Molly's question?
Yeah, I got it. So Molly says, do you think DVC member nights will pick up again in 2022? Also, which EPCOT festival is your favorite? So 2 different questions there. DVC member nights, is that Moonlight Magic that she's talking
I think Molly
about?
means Moonlight Magic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I think the big thing around Moonlight Magic right now is that, you know, parks are not functioning anywhere near capacity. And I know Moonlight Magic is like a ticketed reserved event, but I think even with everything that's going on, I don't think they have the resources to plan for that right now. So
yeah,
in 2022, I would still give it a solid maybe. Like, I don't even see it coming back next year. I think 2023 would be the earliest.
If they do have it next year, I see it being less. Like, you know, not nearly as many nights as they've done in the past. But
yeah, you're right. It won't be, because that, like, what was it in 2019? Oh gosh, there was like
there was a ton of them. Yeah,
there was over a dozen.
Yeah, I feel like it was like 15 or something. I don't remember, to be totally honest, but there was a lot of them.
Yeah, I feel like they'll maybe start off with, at most I would expect, you know, 1 per park, if that. You know, they may only do 1 or 2 in a year, but like I said, things are going to take a while to recover, and I personally don't see anything happening until 2023.
Well, and that's the real question, right? Is when do the parks get back to full capacity? And I think when that question is answered, then we'll have a better idea of when that will happen, I think.
Yeah.
You know, when those will come back.
And just keep in mind that just because the parks go back to full capacity doesn't mean that DVC or Disney is in a position where they're prepared to put on an event like this either.
That's true. That's also true, yeah.
Yeah. And for
favorite festival.
For the second part, which EPCOT festival is your favorite? I kind of like the Festival of the Arts. I think would be mine. Yeah.
Ooh. All right. I think I just want to go straight food and wine here. I feel like Damon's going to go with like the holiday one.
Actually, I don't think I like any one more than the other.
Just enjoy all of them.
Yep.
They all do have like their own like little quirks, you know, like the Flower and Garden has a lot of cool stuff in it, you know, with the topiaries and the
butterflies,
the butterfly, the butterfly thing, you know, they each, and then the art thing has all the cool like art stuff you can do, like the sidewalk, the chalk art, and that one they have people do like a piece of it
by numbers, yeah.
So I guess each festival has kind of like its own thing, right?
Yeah, they do a good job of making them all interesting.
I agree. Oh, we got a Dan question, and this isn't even like a irreverent Dan question. This is like an actual real question.
This is kind of a hard one too. So Dan says, imagine DVC renting out 4 parks for an entire day, only allowing blue card DVC members entry with park hopping. What would be your top dollar for this kind of day, and how would you spend your day? Ugh.
I like that it's only blue card. I feel like that's like a you know.
I'm gonna say
card members.
$500 a person. No, let's go $300. $300 a person for the day. I'm good with that. And how would I spend my day? I would definitely like go to sleep totally early and try to like just knock the craziness out of it and do all of the parks. So I try to do
4-park day.
Yeah, I try to do a 4-park day. I think you have to avoid eating a lot of stuff though during this thing, right? Because you don't want to get weighed down. You don't want to waste your day. Like you gotta just go straight rides. I mean, that's what I would do. If you're telling me that I have this, I'm going to go rides. I'm going to do the stupid ride I hate, the Pandora Flight of the Dumb Passage for like probably 3-4 times in a row so that I can be like, look, everyone, this is not really a great ride. Outside of that, I would just ride things a lot. Like I'd ride things doubled. I'd definitely double up most of the rides.
Yeah.
Like just go back to back.
Now, so would you do a particular order or would you just...
Parks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would probably start out at Animal Kingdom. Midday, I'm looking at Hollywood Studios, and that would probably have a little bit more of my time than any of the other parks. Epcot would be something that I'd probably do last because I'm going to finish up and eat there. So I'd say Magic Kingdom after that, and then I finish up with Epcot.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to do this, like you got to try to hit all 4 parks, right? Like,
yeah, and Animal Kingdom's too hot in the middle of the day. That's why I'd have to hit that first.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You get there early in the morning, you don't have to deal with the heat of Animal Kingdom. Yeah, I get that. Or you do it at night when it's not as bad.
Yeah, I want to finish up though in Epcot so I can just, if I'm hungry, at least like that's where I'm eating dinner.
So what if they did this? What if they did like one of those 24-hour days like they used to do? So like that's this all 4 parks for 24 hours. Do you go 24 hours straight? Do you try to... Yeah. You do 8 hours each park.
I would try.
It depends what the rest of my vacation looks like.
Okay.
So if I have enough of a vacation where the next day is nothing, then sure. I'd try to do it. Actually, I'd probably need 2 days to recover. I mean, 24 hours? Yeah, give me 2 days. So, yeah, I mean, definitely would do it if I had 2 days after.
All right. Yeah, I would try to do it too.
But what are you guys paying?
What do you... Oh, yeah. So what
I
do we
said
pay?
$300 a person would be acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would do that if it were 24 hours, especially for the 4 parks. Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it, so... Like to get an annual pass is what, like $600 and something now through DVC.
Yeah.
So in my mind, this kind of thing, I think my highest cap would be around $400 to $450. Just thinking about, for the same amount of money, when it gets close enough that I could justify an annual pass over it, then
still probably ride. Yeah, but you still probably ride more rides in that 124-hour period than you would with your whole annual pass.
You're right. You're right. The experience would definitely be something unique, and that's why even creeping a little bit closer to that price point, I would feel would be reasonable. But yeah, it's like you said, Tom. The thing is I think it would almost have to be a 24-hour day from my point of view. Because I don't feel like I would get enough out of it if it was just like regular park hours.
I think a lot of people would pay for that 24-hour experience again because they only did that a couple times, and I know people wish they would do it again. Like, I think a lot of people would do that if they could.
Yeah. Now, what would you do for parks, Tom?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I think I like it. I like Damon's idea of Animal Kingdom in the morning. I think it's a good place to start. And then I feel like everybody would start at Magic Kingdom. Like most people would start at Magic Kingdom. So probably be busiest at Magic Kingdom in the morning. So I'd probably save Magic Kingdom for night. I really like just like the look of Magic Kingdom at night. So I think like the 2 best looking parks at night are Epcot and Magic Kingdom in my mind. Like as far as like how, like, with the lighting and like how cool they look at night, I think those are the 2 best. So I think I'd save those 2 for nighttime. And I'd do Animal Kingdom in the morning, and then Hollywood Studios after, and then I don't know what the order of Epcot and Magic wait, Epcot and what's the other park? Why am I blanking? Magic Kingdom. God, I just completely lost my train of thought. So Epcot and Magic Kingdom would be sometime at night.
Okay,
I'd maybe go Magic Kingdom. Like if it were 24 hours, I'd go like in the early morning hours, like 2:00 in the morning. I think is when I would go.
Or water parks are not included, huh? That hurts a little bit.
Well, we went 4 parks here, so we could.
Yeah, I don't think I could do a water park in the middle of a 4-park day.
That'd be tough. That would be tough.
Water parks are their own day. That for me at least.
You could definitely accomplish the 4-park thing. Like, would you guys try to go for like every ride? You know, like some people try to do the every ride thing.
No, there's rides I don't care about.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to myself because that would just make me miserable. And
I don't know why people do that. It just seems miserable.
I mean, it's a challenge, and
it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah, and that's fine. But if I was there for a special day like this, I wouldn't waste my day just blindly trying to get on every single ride.
Yeah, I get that.
And like for me, my thinking on the park orders, I would actually start with Hollywood Studios because I would want to get the Star Wars fix, get
right on Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, get all of that out of the way. I would then I would go to EPCOT during the day. And just for no other reason than, just because I don't feel I need to be at EPCOT in the evening. Magic Kingdom is actually the place that I would want to be at night. But I would go to EPCOT during the day because I would want to be at Animal Kingdom going towards the evening because, that the animals are most active either first thing in the morning or at dusk going into night. So so that kind of forces Epcot to the middle of the day for me. And then yeah, like I said, after Animal Kingdom, I would finish up at Magic Kingdom because like you, Tom, I love Magic Kingdom at night. Yeah. And also guaranteed I would be staying at the Poly. It's the closest place to the Poly. So when I'm, completely dead tired, it's very quick for me to get back to my hotel room.
Yeah. I think my coolest Disney experience was 1 a.m. at the Magic Kingdom during extra magic hours. Just the feel, the vibe of the place and being empty and the lighting. It just was cool, Yeah.
No, I totally understand that.
Yeah. Why don't we go ahead and do our DVC resale market ad, and then we'll do your thoughts. We'll talk about your show that you want to talk about, Damon. So, although I have not watched it, so I think it's just going to be you talking, unless Trevor's watched it. But
stupid show is not on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so yeah.
All right, let's do the
ad.
Resale market.
All right, so this is DVC Resale Market. DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2020, DVC Resale Market helped over 3,600 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, that's 382-7767. When you speak to them, please be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right. So, Damon, you want to talk about this Sulphur Spring?
Oh, my
show?
goodness. The Secrets of Sulphur Spring. So, the first season ended. Now, from what I understood, was originally only going to be an 11-episode show. Now looks like it's going to have a season 2. While it wasn't officially announced, I mean, it ended on such a cliffhanger. And honestly, it's pretty disappointing. It's such a great show that could have been wrapped up in one, let's say, hour-long finale episode, and now is being pushed onto a season 2, and I'm just...
So you're saying you wish it ended after one season?
Yeah,
you don't want more?
No, the story had a pretty natural conclusion, except now they've opened up another mystery, which could have easily have been explained in 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Now we're going to, in theory, get another season, or we're going to end on such a big cliffhanger that it makes it even worse, right, if it doesn't get renewed. Yeah. I'm just pretty disappointed because it had the potential to be a great show, and now I think they're kind of stringing it along a little bit, and I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. It ended pretty good, though. Like I said, I mean, besides the last, and this cliffhanger at the end is just, it's put in there. I mean, it kind of meshes through the storyline, but again, it just, I feel like it's just a little much, and I'm a little disappointed that we're going to catch another season, unless somebody came and told me that, hey, season 2's the last and we have a plan. It felt like, all the material read that this 11 episode series, an 11 episode series to me means one season, but I guess that wasn't the case. It's still worth watching for sure. We'll have to see what happens if it's renewed and if there's another season and what they make of it. But I just felt like it could have come to a very natural conclusion and been a pretty darn good show for Disney. And now we're kind of, sitting out there in limbo, which is tough. I don't think people realize sometimes, the way that the new consumer works is that a wait for a show can sometimes be a downfall. I mean, look, I finished the comics for Walking Dead and they were fine, right? They were good, came to a conclusion, but I stopped watching The Walking Dead because, you have this break between seasons. It's super long. Like, it just doesn't work. You forget about it. You don't care. And I think that happens with a lot of shows with people. So, a lot of these Disney shows now, like Amphibia, they do a season 2 and a season 2.5, 2.5. And that way you're getting a little bit more of it across the year. And they can do that with animated shows, I think, a little bit easier than they can, especially when they put this out as a series. Because I would have to venture a guess if Sulphur Springs season 2 was already filmed, we would already know about it, which we don't. So it's funny. It just keeps bringing me back to the fact that Gravity Falls is the greatest show Disney has ever produced. And my daughter was like, no, they came back next year. And I was like, no, I just don't think they did. Right. And that's just the way that show works. She goes, no, but they said, we'll see you next year. And I'm like, yeah, I just don't know if that's actually what happened, though. You know how those summers work. I said, who are they staying with? Are they staying with Suze? I said, there's no way they're staying with Suze.
Yeah, that was more of that bittersweet.
Yes.
The intention was there, but it was pretty clearly read that, that was the conclusion of the story. And even if they came back the next year, it's not like anything would have transpired.
There's no adventures. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what makes that show so good. So again, like I said, Sulphur Springs was good, but I'm a little disappointed there's another season, but we'll see how it all turns out.
Well, yeah, and I know you haven't watched, unless you haven't told me this, but I know Trevor and I both watched WandaVision, which was really great. I mean, really excellent show, but I don't think they're making a second season of it because they really can't. I don't know how they could make a second season, and it just kind of ended in a natural conclusion, and just it set up a movie, right? So or multiple movies, I guess, but it's I don't think they're going to make another season of that show, even though that show was a huge hit and was crashing Disney Plus. Like I think they've actually come out and said they're not making a second season. So it's kind of nice when those things just kind of end at their logical end, But that's the thing is that, WandaVision, the thing about WandaVision is that WandaVision is not a standalone series. It's part of the larger MCU. Yep. And so it plays by different rules than something like Secret of Sulphur Springs. That's true.
Because you say, WandaVision ended and people want more. No, you're going to get more, but it's going to be in the scope of, these next movies.
Doctor Strange movie. And,
whatever stuff is coming down the line from the MCU. So that's that ongoing storytelling that people want. But I think the problem is that, when people are writing these stories, sometimes they get in their head, they want this, everybody wants every story to be like, oh, this is going to span for, 10 years and it's going to be this large arc and everything. And it's like, sometimes writing a short story or writing a series that, it ends after 10 episodes or it has a very clear cut end to it, like Gravity Falls. That's not a bad thing. And honestly, like to Damon's point, from a consumer standpoint, I don't want every show that I get into to be an epic, like
10 season show,
like an Odyssey, right? I don't need everything to be an Odyssey. Sometimes, you can tell a very clean, precise story. And if you define your parameters and say, this is going to start here and end after 10 episodes and that's it, having the discipline to do that can be better because, that dovetails into, hey, when I do my next story, people know what to expect or people are interested because of the previous work and how well it was done start to finish. Leaving cliffhangers and I get that too. There's been shows over the years that, they get so far and they get canceled or whatever, and it ends in a place where you're like, oh gosh, I wish I knew what happened next, or I wish that they had addressed this. And it makes me so mad because, you almost spend years waiting for them to finish things. And then that anticipation a lot of times ends up leading to disappointment.
Yeah.
Because you build it up in your head as being, oh, we know when they get back to this, it's going to be amazing. And then I've had actually, so not in movies or TV, but actually in video games, I've had some games where, I played these games over years, and they're like, I remember one game where they touched on something like years ago, and I built it up in my head. I was like, oh, it's going to, when this guy comes back, it's going to be, an epic fight. It's going to be so amazing. And then they did it finally, but it literally turned into like a 20-minute thing in one part of a game. And they just like, yeah, this guy came back and this was it, and then done. And I was so mad because it, like, in my head, I thought that they were going to do something totally different with it. Yeah. And they kind of screwed it up. Or, well, from my point of view, they screwed it up. Right. So I see the point about, leaving cliffhangers at the end of a season is not always the best thing.
Well, and, like with WandaVision, like you said, they left cliffhangers, but the cliffhangers are going to be resolved in future movies and TV shows, right? So, yeah,
and that's because they've made it clear those things are already in progress. Like, exactly. Something like Sulphur Springs, if they feel, sometimes it feels like, they get so far into a show and, they're writing the show, and then they don't know halfway through that they're going to be renewed for the next season. And so they're kind of writing it with a certain intent. And then someone will come and say, oh, hey, we're getting the next season or whatever. And so there's a lot of like sidestepping and quick adjustments to try and fit in, something to lead to the next season. And that's what leads to, I don't want to say poor writing, but, just, bad decisions that, lead to, okay, come on, this isn't fun anymore. This isn't what I want to watch. Right. So,
well, yeah, this is kind of sort of Disney related because it's ABC, but I was recently reading an article about Lost, about, the show Lost, and how how in the third season they wanted to end it in the fifth season. And ABC was like, no, we need like 9 seasons out of you. Like, you know, and it's just like, okay, well, if you had in mind just a 5-season arc, it's, it's hard to stretch that out for another 4 seasons after that. So yeah, it's interesting how all that stuff works, but things are changing. And like I said, I don't want a second season of WandaVision because I like what they put together and it was great. And I don't think they need to, again, the whole concept of the show gets, basically blown up in the last episode. So you can't do a whole second season of that. It's just not possible.
And I think it's, there's a bit of mental discipline there that you have to say to yourself, okay, I've had enough, right? Like this is okay that it ended here. And, even like, we go back, we keep talking about Gravity Falls. It's like, the ending to that is so bittersweet and it makes you miss it and, want more, but also understand that you can't have more.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I think we talked more about TV than we usually do. So that was a lot. This next thing I have in here, I'm not going to call it necessarily DVC news, but I just wanted to put this on here because I like fun MagicBand designs. And so there's 2 new custom DVC MagicBand designs. They're the same design. It's basically, it says Disney Vacation Club member on them, and it has Mickey on it with cool sunglasses on, and there's a pink version and there's a blue version. Mm-hmm. I like them. I think they're kind of cool.
Yeah, I think they're nice. I mean, they're kind of understated, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's, the color schemes are like, I think you can get that kind of pink in a regular MagicBand. Yeah. That light blue, I don't think I've ever seen that particular shade of blue.
I feel like the other, like the DVC MagicBand, the special, like the limited edition one that I have is like a similar blue to that, but it might be a little bit darker.
Right.
If I could find it, I could, actually compare it, but I don't know exactly where it is at the moment, which I need to find. I need to figure out before my trip, unless I decide I want to buy these. But these aren't even like limited edition. These are just a new option.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're nice, and hopefully more DVC centric stuff like that comes in the future. I think we've all been asking for that for years. Give me something that, something a little extra, I guess. And this is the nice thing too, is that, they've included these in the, if you've reserved a room, you get the discounted bands, right?
Yep. So
you can get this for $15, which, to me, getting a specific member thing for the same price as the other MagicBands is pretty nice.
They did also have, and I don't know if these were limited editions, but there was a Riviera one, I remember, that they had, and then they also had a Grand Floridian one too. But It was like they were very stylized. They weren't like simple like these. They had a different kind of vibe to them, and they were more expensive too. So I'm guessing they were limited edition. I don't even know if they're still available, but I'm guessing just based on them being $20 instead of $15 that they're more limited. But I don't know. I'm always a fan of more MagicBand options.
And I'll say this: the fact that they're understated, like you said, the Riviera and whatnot looked a little more fancy. My problem with those is that I don't want to wear them when they look too nice.
Yeah,
because you're wearing them around the park, and my worry is that whatever design is on them is gonna rub off or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Right. So,
because you wear those things in the pool, and like the pool just destroys them, like.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, yeah, I think having something a little simpler is sometimes better.
No, I don't disagree with you, especially the limited edition stuff. Like this is the argument that Damon always makes with me, right? You have one that you take out of the box and the one that you keep in the box and look at, right? So
exactly.
Which, by the way, my Cinderella Castle is like halfway done, so it's along.
Ours was on its way to being completed in 24 hours, and then it kind of just went.
Oh, really?
From there, yeah. My wife and my daughter are doing it, and it's funny. They're like, no, we definitely lost. There's definitely not these pieces there. These pieces aren't there. Like, and I'm like, look, Lego rarely misses pieces. I go, you better look again, right? So we've been going back and forth on that a few different times. And of course, I found the pieces, on the rug or here or there, wherever the case may be. So she does it when she gets really bored. And she's just had other stuff to do besides that.
I've been debating whether I want to get the light kit for it. I've seen some.
I think so. I think that's well worth it.
The light kits are pretty cool. I mean, one I saw was like $70, which I felt like was a lot, but the light kits are pretty cool for the castle. I kind of want it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's funny you say that about losing pieces though, because at one point while I was putting it together, I was like, this piece is gone. There's no piece here. And then it turns out it was under the cover of my book of like the instruction manual. Like, I flipped the cover over. Yeah, it just got.
It's rare.
Yeah,
it's rare that they don't put pieces in.
Yeah, they're pretty good about that. Like and they also give you extras of like the especially small pieces, the really like the real small pieces. So
they're like IKEA that way.
What's that, Trevor?
They're like IKEA that way.
Yeah.
You get like a bunch of extra parts that you don't need.
Although it always makes me feel every time like I'm doing something and there's extra parts like that, I'm like, did I miss stuff? Like, did I miss some steps? But it's been fun. It's been a fun build for sure, and I'm gonna be sad when I'm finally done with it. But I've been doing like a little bit every night, just kind of adding to it. It's a very cool build. So I'm glad that I was. I guess I haven't mentioned that I got that on the podcast. I guess it's only for people on the in the group that I shared that I got that Cinderella Castle, the Lego Cinderella Castle, from Trevor and Damon as the gifts we've been throwing about to each other. So I was the last one, mostly because mine was back ordered. So
yeah, and it's also a Lego castle, so it takes a while to build.
There's also that. I mean, I will share the finished product, but I know a bunch of people in our group seem to have done it as well. So I'm not the only one. So anyway, so we got the news finally that Remy's Ratatouille Adventure will open at EPCOT on October 1st, which, I'm not going to say coincidentally, because obviously this is planned, is also the beginning of the 50th anniversary celebration. I don't want to say I'm shocked by this, because all reports seem to point to this ride has been done for a couple months and is just kind of sitting there. So it's kind of weird that they're, waiting, but also I kind of understand it too, because they don't want to just open a new ride like that. And, in the middle of, 35% capacity. And, I read this as they're expecting to be fully or closer to fully open October 1st. And then, they want to have this as like their, headliner thing that they're celebrating to kick off the 50th anniversary. I just think it kind of stinks that the thing is, either ready or close to ready, and they're just going to let it sit there for 7 months, basically,
Well, I guess if you think about it this way, look at all the plexiglass and everything that they put up in the existing rides. Do you really want them doing that to a brand new ride?
Not necessarily, no.
So that in and of itself, it for me is enough of a reason why they would leave it this far. Because,
I can see that.
Because, they know it's not hurting anything not having it open now. Opening it during the summer is not going to get them anything, because there's still going to be at least a certain level of restrictions. They're not going to be planning to take down plexiglass anytime soon. But at least if they get far enough, towards the end of the year, they'll probably be back at a place where, it may not be plexiglass coming down the existing rides, but they'll, things will be to a point where they can say, we can open this. We don't have to worry about social distancing. We don't have to manage this the way we've been managing everything else. And, and not, take away from the ride in that aspect. Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see why that, why they would want to do it that way, to have it just be like the pure ride experience, Yeah, but also it makes sense too, because they want something in a headline the opening of the ceremony too. Of the other anniversary, right? So
yeah, that's the other thing too, is I'm sure for the 50th they were kind of looking at it and going, how do we, hype people up for the 50th with everything that's going on, and hey, announcing a new ride kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, and I they're also the crepe place is not going to be open until then either, so they're going to. I don't know how far along that was, but from all indications, it seems like that whole area is kind of ready to go. But I'm excited for the crepe place too.
I was going to say you just want to have crepes, don't you?
Well, who doesn't want to have crepes? I want to have give me like a Nutella and banana crepe. I'm all about the sweet crepes. I don't know if you guys like savory, but I like a good sweet crepe.
I don't think I've ever had savory crepes, so I can't say which one.
I'm trying to think if I think I have before. I there's a lot of different things you can do with crepes. They're very very versatile, right? So
yeah, I just don't make them enough to play around with it. I think we've only ever had them as dessert crepes.
Yeah. I get that. So, this is exciting and all, and I'm glad they announced it finally. So that's good news. But it just kind of, I was hopeful that it was going to open up before my trip, but obviously that was misplaced hope, right? So, it's okay. Because in the past they have, they've opened these things during holidays, like a Memorial Day or during a busy time. They've launched new rides, opened new rides in restaurants. So, I thought that was possible, but I guess with the 50th, everything is kind of driving towards the 50th, right?
Yeah, it's that combination of coming out of the all the pandemic stuff and leading up to the 50th. I think that skewed a lot of their plans. That they probably had plans to do a lot of these things during this year, and they've just pushed a lot of it back to the 50th.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Let me do our other ad real quick before.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Well, this is for Monera Financial. We talked earlier about buying DVC resale. If you're looking to finance your DVC resale purchase, look no further than Monera Financial. Monera Financial, a World of DVC company, is the industry leader for financing DVC resale contracts. Monera offers lending with no credit checks, often very low down payments, terms as long as 10 years, and no prepayment penalties. If you are thinking of purchasing a DVC contract, go and check out their quick online quote first. You might be surprised at just how affordable joining DVC can be. Go to monerafinancial.com or call 317-245-8800, and when you speak to them, make sure you let them know that Welcome Home sent you. All right.
Okay. So
MagicMobile.
this thing has had a lot more contention to it than I thought it would. But
I don't understand why someone would be mad about an additional option. Like, you know, I can understand if they were like, hey, we're going to get rid of everything else and you have to do this on your phone. I could understand people getting mad. But this is more of like, hey, here's another option for you. Instead of MagicBands, you can now use your phone as a MagicBand.
Because people think that that's where it's going.
Yeah,
that
sure.
This is just an intermediary step to that. That's all.
I get that. But I mean, even in their announcement, Disney was like, MagicBands aren't going anywhere. Like, but you're right. I mean, this is the move away from those, right?
Yeah, it is to a certain point. But, you know, as we've talked about in the past, I'm sure Disney is very well aware of this, is that not everybody has phones and not everyone is prepared to use their phone in this capacity. And especially, like, they're completely out to lunch if they believe that, you know, hey, we'll do everything by the phone. And then you've got a family of 5 where, you know, maybe only the dad actually has a phone on him because, you know, kids don't have phones and all that. Sure. You know, that it's not going to work. There's no way that it'll work. And, you know, I feel that the way that they're approaching this is, you know, that it's 2 different sets of people, right? There's people that, you know, want to show up. They don't want to think about getting a MagicBand. They just want to do everything on their phone. It's something that happens right now in California with a lot of the locals is, you know, they're moving more towards the phone tech because why not? Like, you know, the phone has the capability to do these things. So, you know, they're making sure that it's an option. But then there's the other side of it where you've got, you know, like a lot of our listeners have said it, and I agree with you guys, is, you know, when I go on my trip, I'm not looking at my phone. I would rather have my MagicBand because, you know, that I can use that for all the touch points. I don't have to think about it because it's on my wrist all the time. I don't have to worry about my phone dying on me, although I still run into that, you know, looking at fast passes and changing things. And I know, you know, that may not be an issue again for a while, but, you know, the phone's already doing a lot as it is. And, you know, if you're desperately trying to charge your phone so you can scan your fast pass, you know, that's a negative experience. But, like I said, I'm still not opposed to this because I don't see, both are perfectly able to coexist in this environment. And, you know, just because they introduce something like this, I don't see that as a sign of them taking away MagicBands, and especially, you know, as part of their announcements. They're like, hey, you know, we offer this new service, but keep an eye out for new MagicBands that are coming too. Like, yeah, they said that they said, you know, it wasn't like announcing this service meant, you know, as of, you know, 2022, we're discontinuing MagicBands, right? Like they made it clear that the 2 are going to continue to exist. But I think what you're going to see is that, you know, MagicBands are going to go away from, you know, just you still have the choice of the basic colors and those will always be there. But more of the new ones coming out are going to be, you know, it's going to be more of a focus on those collectibles, right? Getting back into, you know, they want to focus on people looking for unique MagicBands, not just handing out MagicBands to everybody, because they now know that, you know, there's a certain demographic of people that don't even want a MagicBand, so they can use their phone. Yeah, and just to go back a little bit, we didn't really say what this was. So Disney announced the MagicMobile service is coming later in the year. And it's starting in phases later in the year. And essentially, this is just another way. It's like MagicBand on your phone, basically. Yeah. So and also, you know, they're going to have Apple Watch. You can use it for that too. And basically, you'll just be able to put your phone up to the touch points that you usually put your MagicBand up to, and it's going to work the same way as a MagicBand. It's interesting because I remember we were talking about this when this was first announced, because this is not new news, right? So we knew this was coming. This was something they announced. I kind of don't remember when they announced it, sometime last year, right? Yeah. Yeah. And so we knew that this was coming. And again, though, it's not like you said, I don't think that this means the end of MagicBands. I just think this is an addition to, like, it's another method you can use if you don't want to use a MagicBand. I mean, how many people have you seen
that have Apple Watches that will buy those little the thing that you can hold the puck in that attaches to your Apple Watch, right? So like now you just don't even need to buy the little thing that holds the Magic Band puck. You could just use your Apple Watch, right? Like, so that's what they're going for here. They're just having more options. And also, by the way, too, even if you don't have a phone, if you don't have a Magic Band, you can also get a Key to the World card for free at the front desk of your hotel. So it's, there's options. I think more options are better.
And actually, to your point is, I almost forgot about the cards. It's like, through all of this stuff, the cards still exist. They could have said a long time ago, we're not printing the cards anymore. You got to buy a Magic Band, which I'm sure that would have turned off a lot of people. So,
well, when you go to the parks, you notice a lot of people using those cards. It is not like overwhelmingly Magic Bands. A lot of people are using the cards because a lot of the it always seems like everybody's staying on property at Disney, and the majority of guests that go to Disney parks do not stay on property. They're staying elsewhere, so they're using those Key to the World cards or whatever else.
And these are people that, it's their first trip or it's a one-time trip, and
yeah, exactly.
They're not going to necessarily buy Magic Bands, or especially like those family reunion trips where it's like 30 people.
Yeah.
Is you're not going to see, or at least I haven't seen where, a massive tour group of some sort, all goes and gets Magic Bands, right? So yeah.
So, yeah, and along with this was a question that had come up when this first got announced, was about the photo link, like how are you going to do photos, right? And so I guess something that's already piloting is automatic attraction photo linking to your phone. So I guess they've set it up now, and they're testing this only, it looks like a Tower of Terror right now in Rock and Roller Coaster, where the on-ride photos are automatically linked to using their mobile device, but you have to enable Bluetooth for this to work. But apparently that's something they're testing. So for those that were worried about that piece of it, that's something that they've already, figured out and will be able to do as part of this. So
I will say I'm kind of glad that they did that, because I wish I had that on my last trip. So I ended up figuring this out because I can't remember which rut or where I was, but I ended up doing something, and I thought it was going to, actually it was Haunted Mansion. I ended up in a car by myself, and I didn't get my photo for the car. And what I ended up figuring out was I gotten a brand new Magic Band on that trip. But for whatever reason, the long range RFID was busted on it. So even though it was a new Magic Band, I didn't get any of those automatic ride photos. For most rides, it didn't matter because the rest of my party was with me. And so at least one of us, got the photo linked because of it. But because my band was broken, I wish that I had this phone option, because that would at least cover off, I am one of those people that leaves my Bluetooth on all the time, mainly because when I'm using my phone at home, like it connects to my car automatically through Bluetooth and all that. So for me, it's, that would be something that I would use. And I wish that, I had that on my last trip.
Well, it's also just good, like, to have another option, like maybe forget your Magic Band. I think my last trip when we were, in a group together, I think several times, one person had to run back to the room before we left because they forgot their Magic Band. If you had this option, you just be like, oh, okay, I'll just use my phone. I don't even need the Magic Band. It's just
for a day, it won't kill you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless your phone is at like 20% when you get to the park, but then I don't know. People do stuff.
Damon, do you have any thoughts about this one, or is this one just you don't care about this?
I mean, again, like, it's pretty self-explanatory. It is what it is, right? I think eventually that Magic Band prices are going to go up. I mean, I think that's what we're trending to at some point. And, it's going to be, hey, you have this phone option, so Magic Band prices are up. But I agree, if they're continually making money on Magic Bands, I don't know if they'll necessarily go anywhere.
Yeah, well, I agree. Like, I think this is I think this is like pins, right? Where they just, the margins on them is probably ridiculous. I can't imagine it costs them much to make a Magic Band. If they're charging $15 or $20 for one, it's just like pure profit, basically. So, I mean, it doesn't, it doesn't bother them too much to do this, right? Like, they're using all the same stuff. to use MagicBands on the phone, so it's not like it's a big deal to keep MagicBands going.
I like to use my phone. I think for us, that's a good thing. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So you're saying you'd rather use your phone than the MagicBand?
Yeah, and you know what the thing is that I would say that if I still had my old phone, might have been a problem, right, where my battery lasted not that long. But new phones, man, that battery lasts a long time. So I could see that being in kind of an option as well, like depending on your phone battery status.
Well, I guess even if like you had an old phone lying around, although I guess it would still have to have some sort of service. But I mean, you could just use an old phone as your ticket and bring that with you, if you had one lying around, which but
I think the problem is the battery again.
Yeah, the battery. Yeah. If you have a good phone that has a good battery still. Yeah. But this is a good option, I think. I don't think anybody should be mad about this yet. Be mad about it later when they get rid of MagicBands someday. if they do.
I don't see it's going to be a long time before that happens.
I don't know about going away. I think the price will just increase a fair amount, is I think what you're going to see.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And here's something to think about too: is that if they have the photo linking through the phone, you don't, like, a lot of people's concern are like, when do I have to replace my MagicBand so that ride photos keep working? You don't actually have to replace your MagicBand anymore. You can have one MagicBand because that will always continue to work for scanning fast passes and entry and everything. As long as you have your phone on you with Bluetooth, you get all your ride photos.
Yeah, it's true. We talked about that in the show before, where the battery in your MagicBand is only for the long range stuff, and theoretically your MagicBand will work indefinitely for, like you said, getting in the park, getting in your room, all that short range stuff. But it's just the long range that the battery is for. So if the battery dies after 2 years, you can keep using that MagicBand forever, really, if you want to. So, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. So this is, we've never talked about things like the Main Street Confectionery closing before.
Just because I put it in there simply just because I like the Main Street Confectionery, and I'm sad that it's going to be closed while I'm there.
Okay, fair. I guess, yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess I see this now. Yeah, right while you're there, from March 29th to May 22nd.
I know. It's killing me.
That sucks.
I mean, that's like one of my favorite places to just walk in and just smell. Like, I don't even need to buy anything in there. I could just sit there and watch them make candy apples and, and just enjoy the smells in there. And it's going to be closed. And it's just for a refurbishment, sure. And they're going to have a temporary location. Okay. But like, I'm just bummed. It's one of my favorite locations. It makes me sad. But again, this is all in preparation for the 50th. Everything is closing for these little refurbishments because they're spiffing up everything for the 50th. So
yeah, and there's still, so if you really want to watch them make candy apples, there's still was it Big Top Sweets or something like that in the oh shoot, what's that area called?
Yeah. You're talking. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that that area right by Dumbo.
Yeah. So you can still
do they
go
make them there. I think they made them there.
It is a confectionery, so I'm pretty sure that they do a lot of that stuff there as well. I think the big difference is that the confectionery doesn't just do candy apples. They do like all kinds of stuff there, right? And
chocolate ones, and they got they got all sorts of stuff there.
Yeah. So really, I mean, you could almost, if you were that big into candy making, you could just spend a day watching them make different things there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just enjoy walking through that. That's a store that I just peruse, sometimes I'll buy something. Sometimes I'll buy, the 2-pound, Rice Krispie Mickey head, but usually it's me just kind of like going, ooh, look at that. I want some of that. Ooh, I want that, and then just never buying anything. So it's just kind of sad, that's going to be the case. And I don't know if they're going to be doing the apples and stuff in front of people anymore in this temporary location. It might just be, prepackaged stuff, and that would be a bummer, but
I'm sure you'll survive.
See, you thought this was a weird topic and we talked about it for like 4 minutes.
Okay, fair enough. I'll just add one thing. As you were talking about that, I realized that I haven't had any of the English toffee from Disneyland in a long time, and I'm suddenly missing it because...
See there?
Yeah, okay, fine. I see your point.
All right, wait. Let me ask you this. Best smells of any place at Disney World. This is tough.
You can't do that. You can't.
I can do this. This is tough, but I think the winner is always for me, and I know I've said this before, I think if I'm going to go 1 and 2, because I can't decide on just one. Number 1 for me is the caramel shop in Germany. You ever walk in there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can see that.
Oh my god! And then number 2 is the sundae place on Main Street, the ice cream sundae place, because of the smell of the waffle cones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you could just walk by there, and it just and they pump it out into the street. But you
warm waffle cone or baked waffle cones. Yeah.
Oh. That smell is the best. Those are my top 2: the caramel shop and the Main Street sundae place. I can't think of the name right off the top of my head. I'm just blanking. But
I keep wanting to say Gibson Girl, but it's not Gibson Girl because that's the one in Disneyland. This is my problem. Is I keep mixing up the Disneyland and Disney World locations, and I can't. Yeah, we can't keep them straight. Now,
I understand. I'm just bad with names. Like I just forget names of stuff all the time. Plaza Ice Cream Parlor. There you go.
That would make sense because the plaza in that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know why I just couldn't remember that. Like, it just seems like it should be easy to remember, but I just couldn't remember it. So listen, it's the ice cream place on Main Street. You've walked by it, you've smelled it. Trust me.
So okay, now so you're talking about smells. Now specifically, Are you just talking food smells or in general?
I know where you're going with this. Like you're going a Soarin' direction, or you're going the smell of the burning in Spaceship Earth. I think I'll let you do any smell you want at Disney. Anyone.
Okay. Well, all right. So for me, it's actually the lobby at the Polynesian. Is pretty high, and that's because it's hibiscus is what you're smelling, and it's just like you walk in and it just hits you, and again, it's that combination of the sight and the smell, and it just feels so. For me, that's home. Right. Like that's, it's that I'm home moment. But I'm sure everyone else, there's lots of other people that feel me on this one. Pirates.
Okay.
The water and it's, you're smelling bromine is what it is, because that's what they use to keep the water clean, but it gives off a certain smell. And that, again, that's one of those, similar to, standing in the stores on Main Street or anything. It's just one of those things where you just stand there and taking in all the different, the sights and the smells. It's so familiar and it's so comfortable, right? Like it's just something that I love. It lets me know where I am. Right.
I feel like we need to do a poll in the group now of like what the favorite smell is, right? Because there's a lot of options here. Like, because I think a lot of people will go the burning smell in Spaceship Earth, or the former orange scent in Soarin', when it was Soarin' over California, the orange scent, I know that was one everybody loved.
Even the dust smell in Soarin' is kind of neat. I like that.
Yeah, I like that one. I actually like the ocean smell that they give you.
Yeah,
and I'm not a big ocean person, but I like the ocean smell. I think it's a good one. Oh man, what are some of the other ones that people go? Sneaky third for me is when they have the oh gosh, what is it? The different nuts that have like that are like roasted, and they have like some of that are covered with like caramel or whatever. That smell too. You know what I'm talking about?
Where?
They have a cart like that somewhere. I'm pretty positive.
So, yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh geez, where did I see that? I know what you're talking about, but
you do, right? Yeah, they definitely have a cart at the parks with that stuff in it, but. Mine are all food related, so.
But like I said, for me, it's the food stuff definitely hits a certain way, and I agree with you. Walking down Main Street, that there's certain smells that go off that I feel like. Could you imagine like working at one of those carts or working at the confectionery? Yeah. In most other places, it would be weird for somebody to just stop and like stand there. Yeah. But I feel like they're probably used to it. And I would have to wonder from a cast member's perspective, how often you get people just like, you know, whether it's like, you know, closed eyes, just standing in front of you, smelling things, or just like, you know, totally blanked out in another world, right? So there's that part, but like I said, for me, it's a lot more than just the food smells. Is there's certain areas that it just kicks off, like, you know, memories from previous trips, just knowing where I am. Yeah. There's a huge long list of smells, I think, that we could go on about.
We're going to do a poll. Yeah. We should probably start talking about this last topic just because this might be a little bit of a lengthy conversation. So Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney, announced that Disneyland theme parks will reopen in late April. So there's still no date yet, but they're saying late April. So that's what they talked about in the shareholder meeting, but a couple interesting things to note here. So, first of all, apparently they initially reported it was that they were going to open at 15% capacity. Looks like now, since it's going to be end of April, they might be able to open at 25%, which is, obviously much better for them. And then of course, Fast Pass, Max Pass, Magic Mornings, Extra Magic Hour will be all suspended when that opens. And that's not shocking. I don't think that's exactly what Disney World did. But then also noting that Avengers Campus will not open alongside Disneyland either. So a lot to take in here, I think. Yeah.
So the campus, they're opening in July, correct?
Well, that was last year. They said they were going to open in July. Yeah. So I don't think they have an actual date for that now. I think they said it'll open sometime later in the year.
Again, I feel this is kind of the similar discussion that we had about Ratatouille, is that, you know, they don't want to open, you know, you've got this whole nice new land, and, the social distancing stuff has been good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I appreciate that they did all that, but I feel like they don't want to mess up their nice new everything with plexiglass and 6 feet apart stickers everywhere, right? So
yeah, no, I would agree with that. And I also don't think they want to open it when they're at 25% capacity, right? Like they love the spectacle of, like, a 10-hour line for their new attraction, like, even though they don't want a 10-hour line. And I think one of their Imagineers said something like, if you have a 10-hour line, you failed, or something like that.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, they want those kinds of headlines that, something is very busy and very popular to start off. I mean, it's not going to look great if they open up Avengers Campus at 25% capacity and there's just like a tiny crowd there, like that's not what they want.
Well, and further to that is, think about when Rise of the Resistance opened, how crazy that was, and how, they tried to mitigate the lines by making the virtual queues, and they had to do, like, even now, they're still having to adjust so that people can get in there. The problem is like you said, 10-hour lines are a turnoff. An even bigger turnoff is you opened up at 25% capacity, and then only a fraction of people actually get into the new place. People show up there expecting, I'm going to walk in here and I'm going to get on this. And then when they're disappointed, it just further exasperates the already bad situation that they're in with capacity and everything, right? So
no, go ahead. Sorry,
I was going to say, I can see why, it's smart for them to, get people in the door first, and they can worry about the new stuff later.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. I mean, listen, I'm happy that Disneyland's reopening. It's been a year, right? It's just kind of sad that it's still closed. And I think what they actually said was why they're taking to the end of April is, I guess it's going to take them some time to call back all those cast members and train them and all that kind of stuff. I think they actually said that, which is what we kind of talked about last time.
Yeah, and I was thinking that they were already, and I'd said this on the last episode, that I thought they would have already been trying to ramp up for this stuff behind the scenes. But yeah, it sounds like from what Bob said, I think they were waiting on the California governor's announcement before they made any moves, which it's super frustrating that they had to be put in that position, waiting on this announcement. Like it sucks that it took them this long to get just to barely opening the parks.
Well, yeah, and in his announcement, he said, well, last week's announcement stated that theme parks may open starting on April 1st. The fact is it will take some time to get them ready to open for our guests. This includes recalling more than 10,000 furloughed cast and retraining them to be able to operate according to the state of California's new requirements. So that's basically what they're saying. It's going to take them a couple weeks to get everybody back to work. And, there's probably a lot of work that has to go into that. And, I get it. It makes sense. I think I had said in the last episode, I expected to be like May 1st. It was my guess, but they're saying late April. So I guess it's not that far off, but, this is great. I think it's great. I'm excited for the folks out there in California. I'm interested to see what the ticket situation is going to be like. But again, it makes sense too that they're not going to have Fast Pass, Max Pass, all that other stuff, because Disney World did the same thing. So not surprised by that.
Yeah, I think it's going to make a lot of people upset though.
Oh sure, yeah,
because there's a lot more.
By the way, only California residents can go too. By the way,
yeah,
so that
can
only be California residents.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing to keep in mind too. Is don't take this as, hey, start planning your trip to Disneyland, because it's still going to be a while before they even start allowing people in from outside of California. So
exactly. Yeah. And not only that, I mean, there's no timeline. They basically said we have no news about when the Disneyland Hotel will reopen. Grand Californian, at least the DVC portion is reopening. When was that? I forget.
They said in May. So
was it May or was it? Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, there's not even really going to be hotel options. I mean, a Disney hotel options. I mean, obviously there's other hotels around Disneyland. So,
but that actually does, thinking about that now, for the DVC portion, that puts them in an interesting position where, you'll have people coming to DVC from outside of California, but then they won't be able to necessarily get into the parks until the policy changes. So, I don't know if I could stomach being that close to Disneyland, knowing that it's open, and knowing that I can't get into it.
This was your same issue with the whole food festival thing. It's like it would bother you to be able to get in, but then not to be able to do anything but eat, right? So
yeah.
So that's I get it. No, listen, I get it. It's like a tease. You're just getting teased basically by standing there and be like, oh, I could see all this. Like I could see the Matterhorn, but I can't ride it.
Oh man, you just made me really sad.
I'm sorry. Well, on that note, let's wrap up and finish up today.
I'm gonna go and think about the last time I rode the Matterhorn after we do this. So let's wrap this up.
Sorry to be Debbie Downer on you. I apologize. That's my fault.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna go watch some videos. I have some recordings of the Matterhorn, so
there you go.
I'll go watch those. Yeah,
that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So, as usual, if you guys want to reach us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. We love getting your emails. You guys, you bring us great questions through there. We also, people will share trip reports, stuff like that. I know as we're getting back to people actually being able to travel again, if you guys want to share your trip reports with us, please do, because we love hearing your perspective on the parks and how you love doing Disney and all that. So always keep it coming.
Yeah.
If you don't want to reach us by email, you can always find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. And if you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, called the Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, you should think about joining it, because it's getting bigger every day. There's more and more people in there. There's more and more discussion. You also get to get some in on some of the great memes and stuff that come from our episodes. Jeremy I always get a kick out of his posts on there, specifically whenever he comments on the last episode.
Wonder what he's going to make for this one.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of all over the place. So
it was a little bit. I mean, I think we're all a little tired today because of the time change. I think we're a little out of it. So
yeah, that's true. This is. I'm not an early riser, so this has been exceptionally hard on me. Yeah. So outside of Facebook, you can also find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. Anytime we do live episodes, when Tom has his upcoming trip, you should be able to find videos on there from us. And if you have an Instagram account, you can follow us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. We post on there from time to time, and you'll also see all the Facebook posts and everything will come across your Instagram feed. So again, another great way to follow us. And if you want some merchandise, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com. Have a look there for mugs, for t-shirts. We got masks, and it's a great place to get some stuff. Yeah, some stuff with the cool logo on it. Yeah,
yeah.
And I guess if you're planning a trip, maybe get some merchandise, and then you can send us pictures from in the park wearing the logo. That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. And as
good reviews.
I was gonna say, and as usual, if you're listening to us on iTunes or any service that allows for reviews, because it was pointed out that Spotify doesn't let you review podcasts. I don't know why.
Most of the services don't. But by the way, even if you don't listen to us through iTunes, if you have an Apple ID, you can still review us. So
there you go. Yeah,
you don't need to listen to us through iTunes. You can review us as long as you have an Apple ID. You can go review us.
Okay, so yeah, if you guys, if you have listened to the podcast, we do appreciate the reviews because they help more people find the podcast. It does make it show up in more searches with more reviews. But we also like reading your reviews because we do comment on them. We do appreciate good feedback. So keep that coming.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app that's out there. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home, and the one that's Disney and DVC, that one is us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, any and all opinions we express on this show are our own, so please consult a DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our sponsors, DVC Resale Market and Monero, for sponsoring this episode. Go check them out, please. We would appreciate it. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion, of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC. Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no